teacups, what's brewing? Today we have not one, not two, but three girls to talk about with varying degrees of detail. I will start with a confession. I did not watch all of Chantal's content today. Guys, it's not often that I just have to tap out, but I got halfway through her 3-hour live and I watched her burrito bowl mukbang. So we'll discuss as much as I saw, but I'm not putting myself through a video with Sala in it. From what I can see from the thumbnail and the clips on Twitter, she walked on a beach and it was awful. Is all I can really tell you about it, and as much as I need to know. So if there was something hugely important in either that or the second half of the live she did, apologies. I'm sure if it's important enough, it will be around. I am going to start very briefly with Hungry Fat Chick. She updated, she's doing kind of like weekly vlogs with her weight and stuff. Her weight is down to 411. She's really been showing progress recently. It's a significant drop in weight. I think when she started, has she lost 20 or 30 pounds this month? Like quite a lot of weight, and she's still on plan. She had that setback before, and this past week she's come off carnivore and she started incorporating just a few more vegetables, but she still seems to be taking out like starch and things. She's still pretty low carb, but it's not as severe as carnivore. She has also been ordering some meal kits recently, which actually looked very nice. And because of a couple of them not being low carb, she like took out the potatoes from those, which I think was a really good compromise to not waste the food. But she seems happy with her progress. I am happy for her, and I think she should be happy for herself. She's done well, and she seems just more hopeful for the future, which is really great. I know a little while back, I wasn't really watching her then, but I know a while back she had a health scare, she was in the hospital, and then she came out and she went straight back to mukbanging because she's got to earn her coin. And she just looked, from the stills I saw, a little bit hopeless. And she seems so much better now. So I hope she sticks to this. It seems like making this progress seems to be doing her a lot of good physically and mentally. Moving on, that's really all I had to say about Candy, but I thought I'd mention it because I was watching all the things. We'll do a quick update on ALR. She did a binging update. I think it was Target Haul and something else. So she's currently on day 3 of 15 days of uploads, but she's a couple of days behind. She filmed this particular set, she claims, on the 21st, which for me is 2 days ago. With the time difference, it might only be 1 day, but that's how it goes from here. She says that filming What I Ate Today videos are too much editing and are not enticing to her, which to me says that Weight Watchers has been a disaster. Her first day she went over and she went into weekly points, which is manageable. Like you can do that, that's what they're there for. And she's got more than enough points that she could be eating a lot of food perfectly happily. Although I did see on Twitter there were a few posts going around where people had put her weight and her height into the Weight Watchers calculator thing, and it didn't seem like the points she was using were correct, or maybe she used her highest weight to calculate those points. I don't know, to be honest, if she's going over them regardless. And Weight Watchers always seems to have her doing this, where she gets a number of points and immediately goes and binges on all her weekly points. I think that's very intrinsically linked with doing this particular program, because I don't think the point system is good for her mentally. But anyway, I think that's why we're not going to see them. I think she's already just completely blown Weight Watchers for this week, and she doesn't really want to get into that. She has one of those hanger strings hanging out of her clothes, and she will not shut up about it. We had about 4 post-editing messages. Like, you're supposed to just cut them out anyway. They're only really for the display in the store. Go and do that so this doesn't happen again. You are not as cute and quirky as you think you are with these little post-edits interjections. She does a small Target haul. She bought some black pens that she actually needed, and then she bought some e.l.f. putty blush, eyeliner, and 2 more journals. I would have thought with her moving, she'd want to fill her house with less crap. Like, you need pens, okay, go get pens, but do you need to be adding more stuff to the hoard right now, just as you're packing? Like, was it urgent enough? She needed eyeliner, I remember her saying that. but was the blush and the 2 journals, when you look at them, did you have nothing else in the house? People can spend money on whatever they want, but including Anne Boleyn, but it just seems like every time she goes out, she's bringing something back that's not immediately relevant or needed, and then she's just gonna have to pack it up and move it, so why? She did say she forgot her purse and her phone, which is why she didn't film, and that it's really weird that she wouldn't have her phone or her camera, she's usually attached. How did she pay for her stuff? I'm guessing Feline, I'm guessing that they went together. Although I know there's a rumour that Feline is no longer there. I'm guessing whether she's living there or whether she's not, that she's agreed to help ALR out while she relocates. The wannabe Lego of the day is a phone. I don't love like the car, the phone, the thing she's building there, but I did like those cute little rooms. I thought they were nice. Oh, no lies, guys. And I think because the Legos have been a discussion, I got suggested in an ad one of those fake Lego sets on Twitter, and I clicked through and it was this beautiful like Sakura tree set, and then they had another one that was like a train station with Sakura trees around it, and I was just like, I totally want this right now. I want it, you guys. It was about like $50, so I wasn't about to pay the money to buy it and ship it all the way here, but oh, for a moment I was tempted. It was really pretty. If I can find a link or something somewhere, I will put a picture in, but I might not be able to find it again because it was one of those random ads. She eats chicken in biscuit crackers. I've never felt less American in this moment. What is a chicken in biscuit cracker? Does it have a chicken filling? Has it got a chicken flavour the way you can buy, in the UK you used to be able to buy a bag of like fish and chip flavoured, I guess they're crackers. But is it something like that, or are they just regular crackers and the brand is chicken? I don't know, I can't tell, but according to Amber, she gave a fairly long story, but she always associated them with Thanksgiving because they were always part of like the snacks that were available while the main meal was being cooked, and then she saw it in summer one time and was shocked. There you go, I've saved you a few minutes of your life. We have a cut and she's taking off her makeup because her eye is irritating her. She said she's been making more of an effort to wear makeup as an act of self-care because basically she's been feeling like crap at the moment, and the breakup has made her self-worth just tank. And it all sounds like a reason to go back to therapy, but no, let's build more Legos. She grabs a lollipop stick out of the jar she has, you know, where she was, if she lost a pound, she was meant to answer a question. But I don't think she did a weigh-in, so I guess she's just answering those as questions now. I'm not sure. But if anything, it's more evidence that Weight Watchers is already over. Someone asked her if she has a binge eating disorder. Again, I found the use of again a little bit weird because I feel like it's one of those conditions that maybe it's treated more as always being in recovery rather than, or maybe inactive and active rather than cured, I guess. But that might just be something to do with the way I'm thinking about it rather than any kind of medical definition, because I am not a medical professional. But it just struck me as odd. But again, I think it would be a really good time to talk to your therapist about it, because she said she's really not sure, her eating is worse than ever. But her binge eating would have been a really big topic of discussion during those 12 sessions where she was preparing for weight loss surgery. So trying to engage with the idea of her binge eating and what causes it would have absolutely been a topic of discussion. It would have been one of the most important topics of discussion. So surely just go back to that therapist and say, hey, I've had some life events happen and I'm finding that it's really triggering this response. Can we talk? But in a shock to me, you and everyone, that is not the direction she goes in. We move on to P.O. Box. She got a book in Braille for some reason. I'm not sure why. For a minute, I thought maybe, hey, at some point did she mention that she wanted to learn, maybe when she was working in like healthcare or whatever, but that was a long time ago. No, apparently she's never seen it, never felt it, doesn't know why she got sent it. But apparently people have been trolling her recently, sending her boxes and boxes of Debbie snack cakes. Don't waste your money trolling. Yeah, you might make her feel bad, but she's just tossing it. They don't even seem to be donating it, so it's such a waste of food. Whether she eats it or whether she doesn't, it's a complete waste of food. But somebody also sent her a Lego set, which she's quite pleased about, and it's going to go on the pile. And that's all we really get from, I was about to call her Foodie, that's all we really get from Amber today. So there we are. Let's move on to Foodie. I'm going to go through the part in her live that I watched first, because I think it was uploaded first and then she did the mukbang later. As I say, I did not finish this. She's eating a Snickers. She mentions Cameo, and we did have to sit through a Cameo ad saying that she was in the top 50 for her response rate or response percentage or whatever it is, because she did a few yesterday, one after the other, and so she's rating in the top 20 or nearly the top 20. I tell you what though, there can't be that many users on Cameo. If she's ranking in like near the top, the competition can't be that hard. But as I wrote on Twitter, I would say you probably don't need to be paying for this. It's not something I'd put my money to. Again, people can spend their money any way they like. I'm not saying you can't, but you could just say something she doesn't like and she would rage at you for a couple of hours at least for completely free. She starts talking about skincare again because her skin is problematic. Thank you for all the details on your skincare routines on my other video, by the way. I didn't get around to commenting on as many of them as I wanted. I usually engage a bit more with the comments, so apologies, but it was an interesting read. Though I will say some of you have a lot of steps in your routine. I just don't think I could maintain it. I've got a limit to how much I can spend, and I've got a limit to how much patience I have, particularly in the morning when I'm in more of a rush. The way Foodie is talking about the products she got, I just think she doesn't clearly have a sense of what she needs for her skin, let alone what good versions of products are out there, because, you know, not all products are built equally, and sometimes spending more doesn't necessarily get you a better quality product. Now, skincare is generally fairly expensive here when you start going to places like Sephora, because everything is imported, so there is I was going to say a markup on them for the import tax and things, which she noted it was way more expensive than at home. She's got a general sense that her skin is problematic and quite sensitive, but I feel like her skin is problematic because of secondary factors like her terrible diet and the fact that, you know, her level of cleanliness is not very good. She's not removing product completely. She's not cleansing well. And I don't think it's a case of when she's breaking out, it's because her skin is like naturally oily. I actually think it's the opposite. I don't think her skin, if well taken care of, and she was eating a balanced diet and drinking water and all of that, I don't think she'd necessarily be prone to breakouts. And I'll go into that in a minute. But given that she doesn't seem sure of her goals other than I want my skin to be better in a general sense, I think it might be quite hard for her to find products to help her. Like, products that fight acne particularly tend to have a higher chance of irritating sensitive skin. And if you're looking at things like anti-aging products and retinol and things, if you're not careful with how you introduce that, that can also be quite irritating and can leave you open to more sun damage. She does mention a few times how hot it is. It is super hot, so she should be really careful with SPF, and I haven't seen her reference SPF. Moisturizing cream might have SPF in it, but I always use a separate one so that I know I'm putting enough on, because I don't feel with the amount of moisturizer you use, you necessarily get good coverage for it. Now, she doesn't seem to know what the different ingredients in skincare do, which is fair enough. It can be super overwhelming, but she can Google this and the information is available. In fact, I'll link a website down below that was just like 9 most common skincare ingredients and basically what they do. Really, all she needs to do is figure out the skin type she is, which I think is actually dry based on some comments she made, and then look for what ingredients are designed to help that, and then maybe go to a few dermatologists like YouTubes and things and see what they recommend for those particular types of products, and you'll probably do fine. That's what I do when I'm trying to incorporate something new anyway. So the reason I think her skin might be dry though is because she said she spent like $50, she bought 2 things. She got Wishful, which is the Huda Beauty skincare line, 2% PHA and sea moss cleanser. And she said that it's it almost makes her skin feel too clean. And this is why I think her skin is slightly dry, because if you have oily skin, you might not get this, but when you wash your face sometimes and your skin is on the drier side or is a bit more sensitive, after you've cleansed, your skin can feel a little bit tight, which is why it's really important to moisturize. And that's probably the sensation she's feeling. But the problem with that is if she keeps focusing on products to sort out the acne, which is actually not really naturally occurring, it's occurring as a response to her diet and other factors, then I think she's in danger of irritating her face because her skin is dry and she's just going to be stripping out more stuff from it. But she did say that she bought the Sunday Riley vitamin C cream and that she really likes it. And I had a quick search around. It seems to have fairly good reviews, but a good quality moisturizer will definitely help her. She switches topic and starts talking about how she felt judged by people in how she grieved from her grandmother. Again, quite a switching topic. And that she dreams about her grandma a lot. And I think the conversation around the time, if I'm remembering correctly, was more around how she was prioritizing Nada over her family. Actually, I think not necessarily over her grandmother so much as, actually, around Christmas when she was just going absolutely crazy with Nada. Was it around then or her grandmother already passed? Because I thought the conversation at Christmas was about the fact that her grandma had passed, but it was the first Christmas that her mom therefore would have been without her gran. And instead of having fights over the internet with your boyfriend, maybe be home and support mom. So there was a general conversation about how she was prioritizing idiocy online over her family at a difficult time. She confirms that Salah doesn't approve when she eats the way she does, which I was like, oh, I mean, we kind of knew, she'd sort of mentioned it before, but she actually confirmed it. But that he doesn't understand eating disorders. And of course he doesn't. Of course he doesn't understand anything that might lead you to do something you don't want to do. And I would also argue that she doesn't really understand eating disorders. You can experience it and not understand why you do it and not understand a treatment plan for it, because if you did understand, you could be able to cure yourself with no help. And as we can see, she's not doing well without help. But she's an adult and she gets to choose these things, and she gets to choose to not access therapy in any meaningful way, and therefore we continue. She says she's not an idiot, which evidence to the contrary, but she knows she has to restrict more, but she guessed she will when she's ready. She will never be ready. She is terrified of a life without food, particularly now that she doesn't have drugs filling that same hole, because without food filling the emotional need and the emotional holes that she has that leave her ravenous all the time, she basically doesn't know how to function. We have seen examples of her not being able to function without food many times, and actually that was the opening for the drugs era with her, was the fact that food was taken away and drugs started to try and numb out whatever it was she was dealing with. Now that she doesn't have those drugs available to her in Kuwait, we're turning back to food. She talks a bit about her sister. She says she's not jealous, but their situations are not comparable. You know, you can't compare apples and oranges, but she loves her sister, and she's not exactly envious, because she doesn't mean this with the negative connotations that jealousy or envy have, but she's happy that her sister had a better father figure than Chantal did. And she's been mentioning her dad a lot recently. I wonder what's been triggering that, because it doesn't seem like she has much contact with him. So what's been making her think of him? Actually, I don't know if she's ever mentioned his birthday, but is there a family event happening? Is there a birthday that's just come up? When's Father's Day? Father's Day has already gone in the UK. I thought it was the same day in America, but maybe I'm wrong. I feel like something is triggering the fact that she's talking about him, and I don't know what it is. She says that her sister isn't like pregnant or getting married right now because there was a rumor, which maybe it's true, maybe it's not, but that would be a family event that might make her think about this more, so I don't know. But she said she's glad that her sister doesn't have to deal with the food issues that she does. Someone asked about her binging, and she said she's doing good and she's not, and she's going to talk about it in her upcoming mukbang. We are going to cover that. That's really the only talking point we're going to cover from that mukbang, so it should be quite quick. But yeah, she's still mukbanging though, so no lessons learned then. Not that I was expecting any, but there we are. She starts talking about places she'd like to travel. She'd like a villa in the Maldives with a private pool. You can do it, but it's expensive. And she says that Thailand is more affordable and mentions a few other places. Thailand's actually really affordable. I'm considering I've got to have it finalized, but we may have a break in October this year. And I might end up doing a cheaper trip just over to Thailand because I bought a little bit of money back with me from Greece that I didn't spend. So I've probably got enough to travel. But if I travel in October, then chances are I won't be traveling at Christmas because I won't have the money to spare. So I don't know. I haven't decided yet, but I think it would be nice to have a break in October. Haven't decided yet. You're not really here for my personal travel plans, but share them with you anyway. She mentions a few other places. They start chatting for a while, and guys, this is as far as I got. This is as far as I got with her live. I tapped out. I was just bored. I might put her on in the background later, but I was done. I don't often have a limit, but here we were. Let's go on to the burrito bowl mukbang. The only real point I was going to talk here, she's discussing about how she wanted something, I'll use her word, fresh today. She did mention that the other night she had a whole medium pizza to herself at like 5 AM and she hadn't been able to resist the craving, and that afterwards she just felt terrible, and because there's nothing fresh, there's nothing balanced in it, it's all just meat and cheese and bread. And you know how it is, after you've eaten something that doesn't make you feel that good, you want something more nutritious. So today she got a burrito bowl. And I will say, the bowl actually looks quite nice. Her terminology is the meal is gonna slap, and she knows it. And I cringe. I don't mind people using slang. I don't mind people using the word this slaps. I don't mind that. And it may have slipped out of my mouth once or twice. But the point of slang is that it rolls off the tongue. And this is why I cringe sometimes when people try to appropriate slang that isn't usually in their language. A good example of this would be when people talk to me, people who haven't met me before, and they hear, oh, she's British. If they don't immediately try and imitate my accent back to me, which, oh, my favorite thing, thank you so much. If they don't immediately try and do that, then they might suddenly put bloody into the conversation or some other British slang because they want to relate to me, I suppose. But it makes me cringe because basically slang should come naturally, and it feels like she's trying really hard. If you have to try hard to include it, you probably don't need it. But that's just my perspective on it. I've actually felt the same way. While I was gone, it was a live or a mukbang or something, I was trying to catch up, where she was trying really awkwardly to include all the words she's heard on TikTok, and was trying to use fam, and was trying to use a lot of other things. I think she said, nah, fam. I think I've actually used that phrase on channel, but again, it has to come naturally, otherwise it's not really slang. Anyway, moving on, and this is the thing I really want to talk about. She says it's crunch time, she really needs to get some weight down, and we will see why. I think Chantal has booked whatever trip she has planned. Her mukbang makes it sound like she's got a time limit that she's dealing with, and she's saying when I go to Canada a lot recently in her lives and in her pre-records. And I was thinking about this in terms of schedules. At the end of May, she had a few days when she went quiet and then she came back, and I was telling you that I believe that she hopped a border somewhere and got her tourist visa renewed. Now, if she needs to do that again, it would be 3 months. So it would be June, July, August. So I think we are gonna see a trip the end of August or beginning of September, because I can't remember exactly what day she came back online. So we don't know exactly what day it was. I think maybe the 2nd of September, but I don't know exactly what day she had it renewed. But that would be 3 months. So if her trip happens to coincide with that 3-month mark, I am going to be very, very suspicious. And when I think about that, and she's like, it's crunch time, I need to get some weight down, that would be about 6 weeks. We're in what, mid-July now? No, late July. Yeah, so 5-6 weeks, which to me sounds like the kind of timeline Foodie would work on. I'm like, look, we can still make a real difference. Especially with like Candy just posting how much weight she lost over the course of a month. And Foodie is aware of that. She mentioned Candy a few times. So I think she's about to try and steel herself to be like, no, I'll be super strict with myself because I've wasted the other time, and I will drop a lot of weight and be more comfortable. Now, I don't know if she's going to go and do her Disney trip. I don't know if she's going to go back to Canada, particularly because she has said Canada a few times. But I don't think this is the trip she's planning on doing with Salah. I don't think he's going to go. I think she'll do this one alone. And whatever it is she's planning with Salah, with, you know, not Bali, that took me longer than it should have, the Maldives or Thailand or wherever they go. I think it will be a closer trip than the one she's going to do home. So that will probably be at another time. But I think she's booked it. I think the timeline has now got her thinking again about how she really needs to lose weight. Otherwise, she's going to be really uncomfortable on the plane and or doing whatever it is she's planning on doing if she ends up at Disney. Oh, she also mentions the cameo she sent again yesterday, but she put a screenshot up of the fact that she was 21st in the ranking. Again, forgetting my words. But it says how many cameos she sent underneath, and it says 7. So if she's charging $25 a cameo, and I looked up the revenue split between creator and platform is 75% to creator on Cameo, then she made $130-ish yesterday. And the only other thing that really stuck out is there is a heat warning in effect in Kuwait at the moment. I think it's around 50 degrees right now. I think the highs are getting up to, and there's warnings that it might go a little bit higher than that. And apparently she didn't know that snakes and scorpion were a thing in this, her desert country. Okay then, that's fine. Oh, real talk. Somebody posted a picture in our teacher group. They went into their room, this happened a while ago. They went into their bedroom and there was just a snake in the corner. And I checked every inch of my house. And if it ever happens, I will burn this entire campus to the ground. I kid you not. Absolutely not. Someone came from maintenance with a shovel. This was quite a while ago, but there was another recent conversation about somebody has brought red-backed spiders into Oman, and there's a warning going around about them, and you have to call the ministry if you find them, and someone found one in their garden, and I'm just like, nope, nope, gasoline in the match, it's gonna happen. I'll handle the odd cockroach. I'm not doing spiders. Poisonous spiders? No, I'm not doing spiders. I'm not doing snakes, and I'm not doing scorpions in my apartment. That will be the end of us all. But I was at least aware that they were a possibility when I moved to the country, in a way that apparently Chantal was not. Okay, we're all done here. That's as much as I could take of Chantal for the day, but I'm gonna get here, I'm gonna edit. And I suppose whenever she puts out something else, I will see you again. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.